At the end of 2025, there was a trading group that, well, wasn't too happy. They were selling 0 DTE Iron Condors. It's a strategy that gets a lot of attention on social media. I mean, traders think it's a safe and repeatable trade and promises easy money. And I get it. Collect a credit for a trade that'll probably work out and only has a few hours to go. The problem is 0 DTE isn't repeatable. In fact, the group lost around $50 million, which is more money than most of us will ever see in a lifetime. And that's the risk with Iron Condors. Yes, they can be a great income strategy, but only in the right market, with the right timing, and the right risk management. If you don't get it right, an Iron Condor can turn on you fast, especially when you're dealing with options that expire the same day. So in this video, I'm going to show you what went wrong, a better way to sell Iron Condors, and what to do if the trade starts moving against you. So what is an Iron Condor? Well, with an Iron Condor, we want the stock to trade within a defined price range at expiration. To set it up, you enter 4 options trades. First, you'll buy a put. Then you'll sell a put at a higher strike price. Then you'll sell a call, and then you'll buy another call at an even higher strike price. All of them use the same underlying asset and the same expiration date. Now, in a standard Iron Condor, the width of the call spread and the put spread is usually the same, though it doesn't have to be. What you end up with is a bear call spread and a bull put spread combined, which is why there's 4 options legs. The maximum profit on an Iron Condor is the total net credit that you receive when opening the trade. And you achieve maximum profit when the underlying asset trades between the short strikes at expiration. The trade reaches maximum loss if the underlying asset trades at or beyond either long strike price at expiration. If the underlying finishes between the long strikes, the outcome is not necessarily a profit. It may be a partial profit or a partial loss depending on whether the stock finishes inside or outside the break-even range. And on Barchart, we give you all of this information, including break-even prices and all the other option metrics that you need to be successful. Now, let's circle back and find out, how did that investing group lose $50 million? Well, reports suggest that the program used a Martingale-style escalation for the trades. With Martingale, the idea is to double your bet whenever you lose, and each time they doubled down, they grew their risk exponentially. It's kind of like if you play roulette, right? You bet on black and you lose, and then you double and bet again, and then you lose, and then you bet again and lose. Statistically, if you continue doing this, eventually you'll win. But you might run out of money before you end up getting that win, and that's exactly the problem with Martingale. And there's another problem. They were selling 0 DTE options. I mean, this has been very popular on social media. It means the option expires on the same day of the trade. With 0 DTE Iron Condors, or any Iron Condor for that matter, you want the trade to expire out of the money. That way you keep the premium. But look, 0 DTE trading can sound great, right? Make a little money and hope the trade expires worthless in just a few hours. But for the vast majority of traders, it's just not an appropriate way to trade. Any little bit of news can turn the trade into a loss without the ability to roll or adjust in time. That means more losses. Let me explain. With 0 DTE trades, time works differently than it does in longer dated options. The option is expiring that same day, which means your trade has very little to no room for error. Any small move in the underlying can change the value of your position extremely fast. And that's because options that expire on the same day are highly sensitive to price movement as expiration approaches, especially when your short strikes are nearby. So even if the trade looks safe when you open it, one sharp intraday move can push your Iron Condor from a small winner to a big loser in a very short period of time. And since there's so little time left, you often have less flexibility to adjust, roll, or wait for the trade to recover. The next problem is position sizing. As an options trader, you always want to be aware of the maximum potential loss of the trade, not just the income. Even if there's a small chance to lose on the trade, you still need to know what it is. So when you size your positions, don't ask yourself, how much am I going to earn from this? Instead, ask, what's my exposure? And how much can I possibly lose on the trade? And am I okay with that? Well, in the group's case, imagine doubling your potential max loss on these trades over and over that have actively moved against you. And in that case, they ran out of money and the fund exploded. Let me show you what I mean. Let's look at Barchart's Iron Condor screener right here for the SPY. To find that, just go to Profile page and click on Condor Strategies and then short Iron Condor at the very end. For the SPY, options expire daily, so I'm not going to change the expiration date. Let's have a look at this one right here. In this case, you want the SPY to land between $639 and $679 by the end of the trading day, and you get to keep the entire $13 premium, which is the maximum profit if it does. Considering that at the time of recording, SPY trades at $655, you could see how this would be rather plausible. Now, here we can see the break-even prices are $638.87 on the downside and $679.13 on the upside. If the SPY trades between those prices at expiration, the trade ends at a profit. But if the SPY moves below 635 or above 683 by the end of the day, the trade enters its maximum loss. And in terms of positioning, you might think, well, why don't I sell 4 of these trades and collect $52? Well, it's because your maximum potential loss becomes $1,548. And what if the SPY does move sharply above or below your long strikes? Well, that's exactly the problem. Chasing short expirations may look safe, but remember, there's not much time to let the trade play out. Now, let's look at a longer dated trade instead. With these trades, if something wrong happens, you'll have more opportunities to adjust before the trade hits its maximum loss. So, starting with the Iron Condor default screener page, I'll change the expiration date to April 24th, which is 32 days away from the time of recording. As a general rule, I prefer trades that are about 30 to 45 days away from expiry. Then I'll click the screen button right here so I can zero in on a few high probability trades. I'll click Set Filter right here and add in 2 filters. First is probability of loss. This filter gives me the probability of the trade ending at least a 1 cent loss. I'll also change this to less than 20%. Then I'll add in the risk-reward filter and set it to 10 or lower for trades with favorable risk-reward ratios. And there we have it, a new selection of potential Iron Condor trades. If you want to change how the results are arranged to, say, the lowest risk-reward ratio, just click the column header until the list is sorted the way you like. So let's pick the 510, 540, and 697.20 Iron Condor as an example. This trade starts at a $285 net credit, and the max loss is $2,715. As we approach expiration, let's say the SPY steadily climbs to near $690, and by the looks of it, you might even think that it could go even higher at your expiration date. That means the call side of your Iron Condor is being threatened. So what do? Well, you can adjust your position. When you adjust the Iron Condor, you'll be adjusting 1 or 2 of the options on one side of the trade. In this case, it'll be your call side. Adjusting in options trading is the process of closing your current position and simultaneously opening a new one, usually at a different strike price, a later expiration date, or both. The goal is simple: buy yourself more time and reposition risk. In this particular example, you're going to have to do 4 things. First, you're going to need to buy to close that $690 strike short call. Then you sell to close the $720 strike long call. And then you'll reopen the call spread at different strike prices, different expiration dates, or both. For example, you can sell to open another short call at, say, $730 strike. And then, since you want the same distance as the previous call spread, you can buy to open another long call at $760, which is 30 days away. The expiration dates, they stay the same. But here's the thing. There's no such thing as free lunch, right? Remember, since you're closing one position and opening another, the difference in the premiums of the 2 transactions is going to determine whether you ultimately receive a credit or pay a debit to adjust the trade. For example, the original net credit for the trade was $285. But since the SPY is trading closer to your $690 strike call and volatility is higher, well, let's say you now pay $500 to get out of the call side of the Condor. But then you reopen the call spread and say you receive $400 for the $730 strike short call and then pay $100 for the $760 strike long call. So now you receive a $300 credit. That means you paid $200 to adjust the trade minus the original $285 premium that you received. So in this case, you'd still have a profit of $85. Now, let's say April 24th comes around and the SPY is trading at $721. All the Iron Condor trades expire out of the money. If you had kept your original Iron Condor structure, you'd have lost $2,715. Now, of course, with that example, you might be tempted to consider adjusting all your losing Iron Condors or any options trades whenever possible. It's like a get-out-of-jail-free card, right? No. Adjusting should happen when there's a fundamental change in the underlying or the market. Because it doesn't remove the risk, it just relocates it. It can reduce near-term damage, but it doesn't magically erase it. You're just essentially kicking the can down the road. To know whether adjusting is worth it, you usually need to answer yes to the following questions. 1. Is there enough time value in the new spread to collect a meaningful premium? Remember, options have time value baked in. That directly affects the cost of each trade. Plus, the closer it is to expiration, the more sensitive premiums are to price movements. Second, has something fundamental changed in the underlying asset that suddenly gives it a better chance to trade in your favor? Because if the stock or ETF is already past your long strikes and racing towards a new high or low, then it might be better to take the loss and move on. And lastly, does the adjustment improve your P&L? Does it reduce your losses meaningfully while keeping the risks low enough to make it worth it? Or maybe even result in more premium? If you can't answer a full yes to all of these questions, then it might be better to just take the loss and move on. Now, there's also another thing to think about, especially if it's near the end of your trades. At any point during the trade, if you can close out the Iron Condor and keep 80% of the premium you initially received, well, most traders would take that deal. It gives you two benefits. One, it locks in your profits, and two, well, you no longer have to worry about the stock moving sharply against you. That leaves you free to look for other opportunities. So to circle back, it's usually best to sell Iron Condors with at least 4 to 6 weeks to expiration. And of course, keep your loss probabilities low. And adjust the trades if something meaningful has changed or if you can improve your P&L. But don't be afraid to let the trade end at a loss, because overtrading can eat into your profits far more than you'd imagine. And by all means, don't trade like you're at a roulette table. But now I want to turn it over to you. Have you sold Iron Condors before? And what's your favorite expiration time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it helps others find the video, it supports the channel, and it makes sure that you don't miss out on our next deep dive. Well, that's it for me today in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.